Okay, this is a very short video just showing how to use the Stanford parts of speech tagger. And if you navigate to the URL here in the bar, you'll see it kind of explains what it is, how we use it, and there are a number of different options available for different languages. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Composer, and through Composer we're going to simply use Composer as a package management software for PHP. And if we go to one of the recommended sites from Stanford, it recommends to use this PHP wrapper for integrating with the Stanford parts of speech. So it allows us to install this using Composer. If you haven't used Composer already, it's a package management software for PHP, pretty similar to Bundler that you would use with Rails. But essentially it handles all of the requirements between different packages for larger applications that are created. So essentially to install this using Composer, we simply copy this command here. So just Composer require, and then the name of the actual package that we want to use. So I have, let's see here, so I'm just navigating into a blank application that I just created called tag. I can see up here in the browser bar. So just running on the local host, I have one file called test.php. If I have a look inside of my directory structure for tag, I have the one file test.php. So if I go to my terminal here again, if I just have a little look here, okay, and if I paste in that command to require in the package using Composer, hit return here. So this should only take a couple of seconds, I guess. Okay, so it looks like now, so if I run a list, I can see that it's after taking in a whole bunch of things. And let me just navigate back to my directory structure. So now I can see I have my Composer JSON file, my composer.lock file, my test file is where I want to write my code, and then inside here is the vendor, and we have auto load features in here, and we have different packages that exist, I suppose, within this directory structure as well. So let's just navigate back to the I suppose the GitHub page. It also tells us here to download the required packages for the post tagger here. So these would be, I guess, the simple models. So what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it directly into my folder here. So you see the root of the actual folder here. I'm just going to paste them directly in there. So now these are sitting in, I suppose, the topmost directory. So now we go back, and I want to be able to just manipulate this test file here. Okay, so I can see here, so this is simply a PHP file. And I'm just going to go and make sure everything is working and just say hello world. Save that there. And I go back to my browser bar now and I run it. And I can see that I get simply hello world. Okay, so what I'd like to be able to do when I go back to here again, it tells me that I can use it simply like this, where I'm simply going to get or create a new tagger stored in a PHP variable, and then I'm able to tag up. Looks like I'm passing in a string. So let me just copy this now, and if I post this or paste this in here, we'll make a couple of little changes here. So first of all, if I'm using Composer, I'm relying on requiring in those packages. So they're stored, you see again, in the vendor directory. So if I go, we just have the, like this, yeah. So I have the vendor slash the autoload.php. So once I require this in now, by using Composer, it's going to help me with all of the other packages. We can leave the hello world here. I'll simply just put in some simple formatting. And then we have this simple sentence here, my dog also likes eating sausages. So what we'll simply do is store this in a variable. So sorry, in a variable called output. And then I'm simply going to echo out output like that. We'll save that. We go back and run, and what we're kind of hoping here is that we get some output like this, where we have the various lexical constructs are being tagged using the Stanford sparse speech tagger. So if I go back now to my PHP file, reload my file, I see now that I'm getting out my simple file. I can see that the string has now been tagged up using these the parse speech tagger, and I now have access to these variables. So let's just take another quick look at the code again. So I suppose the important steps here are to, if we're using composers, to acquire in the vendor autoload. This helps us run the appropriate files and sets up our directory structure as well. We can remove the hello world. And then essentially using the packages that we've just accessed here, we're setting up a new tagger. We're simply assigning the output of tagging up a simple string, and we're storing that in a variable called output. And now we're simply echoing out the standard output, whatever is being stored inside of the variable output. And that's really essentially how we can use this particular package that we've installed using Composer. So for people who want to manipulate and ask questions and use, I suppose, various linguistic approaches to mining this information, the content is now stored in output, and you should be able to parse that output and look for whatever it is that you need. Okay, I think that should be okay. Again, so if we have a look here again, so the address here from the GitHub account is up in the browser bar. We want to look at the Stanford or the Stanford Sparse Speech Tagger homepage is up in the browser bar now again. And then the last thing we'll just show one more time is just this simple directory structure. So inside of this folder here, I have my test file. Composer will install the composer.json file, which highlights all the different packages, the lock file, and the vendor folder. And then I'm pasting in my models into the same directory structure here. And once I do that, it's simply a case of running it through the couple of lines of code, and we should be all good. Okay, I'll leave it there. Hope you enjoy.